getting a hole cut in your hand.
We don't want to get holes, right?
I had to go back to the dentist and
Good. Call to order the Stokes County Board of County Commissioners on May 28, 2019 at 6 o'clock. And as always, we'll start off our invocation. I believe it is Commissioner...
It's actually Commissioner Yancey's.
Yancey's
You
turn.
yeah, you did it last time,
Yeah.
but we were a little out of order. Yep.
Anyone that'd like to join, please stand. Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon and ask you to give us wisdom and strength to do the work of our county. Please lead, guide, and direct us, and give us travel mercies on our way home. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please continue to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off with our approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll go ahead on to our comments from our commissioners and our county manager. We'll start with Commissioner Morse.
I'd like to welcome everybody. We've got a good crowd here tonight. Just FYI, I did finally post my blog today on the two budget meetings that we had about a week or so. I've been out of town, so I got a little behind, but feel free to check that out. And just a reminder that we do have a couple more meetings this week, one with the Board of Education and a public. So thanks again for that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Walker.
What is this?
I was reading different names on there. I didn't want to call you somebody else there.
Okay. This could be an interesting meeting. Good to see all you folks. A lot of purple. Julia got the message. She's right, kind of almost like one of you. Any of you ever read Reader's Digest?
No.
How many? A pretty good number. Did any of you happen to see or remember the article about libraries? I'm not seeing any hands or heads nodding or anything. Well, I was reading, I'm about 2 or 3 or so behind with my Reader's Digest. But I was reading one, I think it was yesterday, catching up some, and there was a great article in Reader's Digest about libraries. And the author tells about her association with libraries, her and her mom going when she was 4 years old until now, and she's an author now and good writer. But it's a very good article about libraries you'd probably enjoy. And it made me smile a few times while I was reading it. I liked everything about the libraries growing up, but I never did like the late fees. And I bet I'm not by myself. Good to see all of you. You sort of brighten up our commissioner's chambers, and I like your purple. I like what it says on your shirts. And who designed those?
Bring it back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You did a good job. Very good. Only other thing I'll mention, and I've been talking to some of you folks, and you said some very kind, very encouraging things to me about what happened 6 months ago. 6 months, just a few days ago. Had an encounter with a deer. I think it wanted to ride my motorcycle with me, and I ended up laying on the pavement, and then it ended up trotting off. So I think it came out pretty well, much better than I did. But I think we almost have a problem with deer. So many of them coming over today a little after 3 o'clock and coming down Mountain Road, headed this way, and I had to brake for a deer at that time of day. If anyone has any ideas to help solve this problem or make a difference in a positive way, I'd be very interested in what your thoughts are. Quick quiz question, but I'm not going to give you a little light like I did Andy. He answered the question right and got a little flashlight. But our Commissioner Nicholson, Chairman Nicholson, I'll get it right. There you go. But anyone know what the most dangerous animal in this country is? Fatalities, injuries. It's a white-tailed deer from cars and other vehicles, and it ranks #1 in most dangerous animal. And we're very blessed with a strong deer population in our county here, and I'm kind of wondering if it's getting to the point where there needs to be some thought put into what can be done to reduce the times that vehicles and deer get tangled up with each other. Animal rights lovers will probably flood my mailbox and my email and everything for even thinking about something like that, but I put human life above animals, and will continue to. And it's not a pleasant thing for me to think back on how quickly a person's life can change when certain things happen certain ways. Let me stop so these other folks can talk, and always good to see you, and I hope you'll always feel welcome here, and I hope you'll find your time here today productive, and hopefully it'll cause you to want to come back and be with us again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker, for those short comments. We'll move on to Commissioner Yance.
Yeah, I'd like to start by telling Commissioner Walker, if you're going to give us an oral exam, you need to give us some study guides next time
okay.
around.
I'll
Appreciate
remember
that. No, just like to welcome everyone tonight. Thanks for participating. It's good to see a nice crowd on a beautiful day. And as Commissioner Moore said, we'll have our joint meeting with the school board on Thursday, and then our community on Friday at
7.
7.
Over
So
here.
invite everyone out, please, if you have anything that you want to bring, any concerns. That's what we're here for, is to hear your concerns and try to correct those as best as possible. So thanks again for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Yance. Commissioner Mendenhall?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank everyone for coming out. It's good to see so many faces here tonight that I know, and the libraries, y'all turned out in force. I love it. I love it. Cindy, everybody, listen, thanks for coming out, and I can't wait to hear your comments, and we're excited. And as they said, I think we're going to move our public hearing. I just want to go ahead and let y'all know, in case you're coming, our public hearing was scheduled for Friday night at 7 in courtroom A, and we're going to move that to here in the Commissioners' chambers. So if any of you are coming out to the public hearing on Friday night at 7, it'll be here. So hope you can come out if possible. If not, we're live streaming everything now, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube. So thank you for coming out. It's good to see all of you, and I hope you have a good evening and a safe trip home. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendenhall. I'll echo what the rest of the commissioners said. It's good to see y'all here. It's good to see some people here to come to meetings. And, when you see a crowd come together wearing the same shirt, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I think we got a good thing going here. So, once again, thank y'all for being here. We sure do appreciate it, and looking forward to hearing what you got to say. And with that, I'll move on to our county manager, Jake Oakley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to everyone here. I want to put in a plug for our fire departments. I got a letter from Veland Copper. I think that's the way you pronounce it, their name. But anyway, they had a fire on Tuesday, April the 23rd at their location. And they sent me a letter in response to that on how appreciative they were in the excellent service they got from our fire departments, the quick service they got from our fire departments, and in return, they gave a $500 donation to the fire departments, and this went through the fire marshal's office. But anyway, they wanted the board to know how much they appreciated all the professional service that our fire department had given them in their time of need. So other than that, thank you very much, fire department.
Good. And just thank you for all the guys and gals on the fire department. They do a great job. I'm glad to have them here in this county working for us. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to our public comments. I believe up first we have Miss Ellen Perrick. If you don't mind, just state your address, your name, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Ellen Perry, 1095 Wheeler Smith Road, Lawsonville. I'm here to give you an update on the art. I just wanted to mention something that happened in the past. I don't always like to tell you about upcoming things, but the Susie Baga show was probably the most fantastic thing we've had since John Berry. It was sold out, and she A very nice lady, a beautiful voice, and it was just a fantastic event. In the Apple Gallery in June, we're going to be featuring the Monarch Stokes Opportunity Center kids and adults, and they're going to be showing their pottery and ceramics. So that's going to be in June. Their reception is on June 7th. In the Hanging Rock Gallery, the Jaybird Gallery, Craig Richards was in the gallery in May, and now his students that he teaches are going to have their show in June at the Hanging Rock Center. Our Danbury Songwriters begins its third season this Thursday, May 30th at 7 p.m., and they're kicking it off with Taylor Baden. He's a well-known singer-songwriter from Keene, and his latest single is called This. It's now available on iTunes, and he was a 2017 and 2018 Carolina Music Award nominee. So those shows will be every Thursday from May 30th through August 29th, and they're $5 a show, or you can buy a season ticket for $50. On May 31st at 6:30, we're going to have our first Junior Mountain Music Program recital. These are the kids in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in the Stokes County schools who signed up for the music instruction in traditional instruments, and they've been hard at work since January. So this will be their first recital. So it's free. We expect a lot of family members, but that should be something that we should all be proud of. Our big fundraiser, Art Shine, is June 1st. That's Saturday, 2 to 4:30 p.m. at Moore Springs Manor this year. We always take it around the county to different venues. And the Matt Kendrick Trio is going to be performing. Matt is a teacher at Wake Forest, so he's a jazz musician, and he has a bass player and another member coming with him. So all the food and everything that you want, music, a beautiful venue. It's going to be a great day, and all the proceeds benefits school programming in Stokes County Schools. Our trivia is happening on June 4th. We continue to enjoy a great group for trivia. They sometimes get mad when the teams don't win, but we ask them to please just get over it. Our area is such smart people, and they're very competitive. And so they'll either challenge us that answer was not correct, and they'll get their Google, they'll Google it. Danbury Songwriters again on June 6th with Jeff Wall. He calls himself a big dumb hick, and he's a solo acoustic singer-songwriter from Winston-Salem. So he is funny as well as musical. So that'll be our next Danbury Songwriters. So that's all I have until we get to the next meeting. I brought a couple of Art Shine cards for Shannon to pass around. Thank you.
I'm taking direction from the IT department, and on the cameras trying to get that line back up today. We're trying to get all of you in the camera.
Yes.
But it's back up. Okay. I'll move it again, you'll know they said no.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Perrick, for the update on the arts. Next, we have Miss Olivia Shelton.
I have on my purple, but I have on a jacket first. I want to thank you for your continued support of two agencies that have supported our family, and we have supported them, that I'm not directly addressing, but I am going to speak to you of right now. That's the hospital and the continued funding there. We seem to use it as much as we did when we had 3 active boys. We seem to use the Arts Council as much as we do when they were young, and they were there all the time, and we are still there all the time. And one teaches art, one's a practicing musician, one was a practicing musician, is now a really high-powered lawyer. So go take that with the arts and all the competitive sports that he did while at North Stokes and South Stokes. I want to thank you for your time and your continued support of those two agencies, but I want to speak directly now in support of our libraries and our librarians in particular. I forgot my hat, so my jacket had to do. I don't think we realize what libraries mean for people who don't lack information. We don't lack information. It's at our hand. My magazine stack and my book stack is just, the granddaughter comes in this week and says, there's so much stuff from Grandma. But there it is, it's there. We have it. People don't. So my particular big cause for all of our libraries is the bookmobile that's based in Danbury but goes throughout the county. If you have a senior citizen, a person without transportation, a child, all summer long, driving everyone crazy, pick up a book. When I was a guardian ad litem, I told them, you all can get the library here. It comes on a van, and it's right there on your road. They came. The books never got returned, but there was no recrimination. I think that says a lot. They had no idea it was out of the Danbury Library. I said, if you need the library, you just call 336-593-2419. I didn't have to look it up or write it down. And I want them to know throughout the county. And as I ended up classes, as I was tutoring or as I was still teaching, I always tried to make kids realize you just got to call. Your parents don't even have to ask for it. Somebody has to have a library card, but they'll get you one there. Have a terrific service now. It's an expensive service. We realize that. Our librarians are very much in need of some sort of a graduated cost of living, and I'm asking that you support Jake Oakley's budget in funding that over the next 3 years, in particular this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Shell. Up next, we have Sharon Richardson.
Oh, 602 North Main Street.
Sorry, I have to move it down.
You're good.
Sharon Richardson, 3220 Piney Mountain Road, Walnut Cove. And I'm here tonight also because we're wearing our purple. Our three boards are unified, and we're all wearing our purple to show our support for our public libraries, all three branches. We've met together and, really learned a lot about each of our branches from the meetings that we've had. And we just want to show you and show our county how we are supporting our libraries. And we want to urge you to support Jake Oakley's request for the graduated pay increase for our librarians. It doesn't matter what time of day you go there, it's always busy in the three libraries. They do so many things that I wasn't even aware of, just being there and seeing the people come in. So a lot of people think that libraries this day and time, because of the digital age, are not necessary, but they are. For so many of our people in our county, that's where they go to have their access to technology, and especially in the northern end of the county, as Patrick's going to share with you later. I also just want you to know that I have been a patron of the libraries for many years, from the time I moved to Stokes County, 32 years ago, as an educator and as a parent, and then now I am able to take my grandchildren to the program. So they see the benefit and the continuation of the joy of reading books and learning. And so we just want to share that with you. I also have a letter from all three of our library boards with signatures, and also from the bookmobile showing our support. And I'm going to give this to you if you can look at it. And I want to give the rest of my minutes to Patrick, if that's okay, because he's might have a little more to share. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Up next, we have Diane Myers.
I'm taller. I'm Diane Myers, 230 Greystone Drive, King, North Carolina. I also am part of that group, but I didn't get here in time to get my shirt, so sorry. Anyway, I'm still there. Again, I'm Diane Myers. I serve on the King Public Library Board of Directors. I am also the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Stokes County. I fully support the county manager's budget proposal pertaining to the library employee salaries. Their service to our community is invaluable and should be rewarded as equitably as possible. I deal with the effects of the poverty cycle in this county every day. Families are challenged to meet basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter, so free programs offered through the library are greatly needed. Free programs such as JobLink, computer and internet usage, and even children's programs allow families opportunities otherwise unreachable. However, programs without committed and dedicated providers are wasteful. We are blessed in Stokes County to already have service providers in our libraries who love their jobs, love the people, and love the programs they offer. We cannot afford to lose that. Habitat for Humanity of Stokes County is dedicated to providing safe, decent, and affordable housing to all citizens in Stokes County. With that foundational need in place, families are better equipped to attain new milestones in their jobs, education, and economic stability, which is often facilitated by the library resources. The partnership with the public libraries is a natural fit for this county's economic growth, and one I strongly urge you to support. I appreciate your consideration for that. While I have the floor, I also want to invite you June 5th to the Walnut Cove Public Library, 3 o'clock to 4:30. The Piedmont Triad Regional Council is having a public meeting to discuss affordable housing. I would appreciate your participation in that as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Myers. Up next, Lori Dunkelberger. I say it correct? Pretty close.
I'm Laurie Dunkelberger. My address is 321 Cherokee Court in King. And as a board member of the King Public Library, I am here. And I'm here to tell you my initial story when I moved here from Pennsylvania. It was 9 years ago. We had 2 days to find a house. It was in the crunch of the down market, and we got a call that we had a contract on our house. Well, we panicked. Where are we going to go? How are we going to get this contract back to Pennsylvania? And our realtor took us to the library. We had help there immediately, and without their expertise, it just was very, very important. And obviously then traveling back and forth to Pennsylvania, we needed books on CD. And again, the staff was knowledgeable and helpful to find us those materials. I'm also when I've always obviously liked the library and wanted to get involved. And through the Friends of the Library, we are the arm that has a book and rummage sale twice a year to buy books. I had no idea that this county did not have money to buy books and materials for the library. So what a great way for me to encourage the community to be a part of buying the books and the resources that is needed. The other thing that impressed my husband and I was like, this is a beautiful building for a little town of 11,000 people. We were really impressed with that. But the building, the materials, nothing matters if you don't have staff. Staff who cares, staff who go out of their way to help. And that is why I'm here to encourage you to fund the increase. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next, Mr. Patrick Stevens.
Hello, gentlemen. My name is Patrick Simmons. I'm from 5153 NC Highway 89 West in the community of Francisco. And I have 5 generations of my family has lived in Stokes County that I can count, probably more. And I'd just like to tell you a little about what the library and what it provides lives to me. Any of you, if you know the county well, there is no high-speed internet from Highway 704 to on any of the offshoots until you get to 268 on the east end. And it's many millions of dollars worth of property value in there. And we don't have a lot of cell phone towers, so internet access can be a big deal, and for me, that's been a lifesaver. I am a board member at the Danbury Public Library, and I am a regional board member at the Northwest Public Library. And I am a cabinet builder by profession, but I have hobbies Like I restore old woodworking tools when I have time, old automobiles, and finding parts for some of that stuff can be nightmarish. And for me, the library allowed me to market and sell some of my furniture that I've built, jewelry boxes, business card holders, what have you. And one thing in particular, I bought a 36 Ford truck from Rapid City, South Dakota for $3,500 and had no idea the vehicle was made 34 years before I was even born. So I've used a library and internet to gain information, to find parts. I've even had to make parts to go on it. A person a few years ago walked in my driveway and told me he'd give me $70,000 for that truck. So internet access makes me able to make a living as a coach. I publicize any of my team's accomplishments on my LinkedIn, Facebook, and other accounts, and the library and its staff makes that possible. When I first went to the Danbury Public Library, Nora Langford, a former commissioner's wife, was there, and Nora's a little like I am. We did not have internet access when we came through school and everything, and Lisa Lawless has been one of the biggest help educating me about stuff, teaching me how to use it, and it's made it possible for me to eke out a living and actually be what you would call successful, living in a community that it seems like technology forgot. And I want you to consider that when you think about improving our budget and making a fair market wage for the ladies that work there and have helped me, and sort of keep that avenue open. And I would end in saying there have been many people, and Ronnie Mendenhall would know this as a former principal at North Stokes High School, that come up and leave cell phone service to the wayside and like, how do I find out where I'm at? The library at Danbury and Walnut Cove and King keep their internet on 24 hours a day. So if anybody's lost, needs assistance or anything, I tell them, go to the library, get on their Wi-Fi, and it can help you. So I would once again like to reiterate that you consider all the things that it helps me, my neighbors, and my community by having internet access and the resources available there, and consider that when you vote on the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Up next, we have Ms. Pam Tillman.
Pam Tillman, 113 Gale Drive in King. Like to take the opportunity to give an update about the hospital. Thanks, Miss Olivia, for your support of the hospital that's been ongoing. We did have our open house on May 16th. We had a good turnout. If you're not able to attend, I would encourage you to check out our Facebook page, Life Bright Community Hospital of Stokes. And a lot of people get that spelling wrong, so it's LIFEBRITE, Community Hospital of Stokes. And we'd like to thank Dale Sands Photography for attending, taking some great pictures of the facility and the folks who attended. We're also excited to have a lot of our community partners attend and make contributions to the evening. We appreciate the donations by Arts Place and the Hampton House. Others attending as far as community partners were Yadkin Valley Home Health, Mountain Valley Hospice, Cardinal Innovations, and we're working with Cardinal on some great projects with some of our swing bed and nursing home residents. So excited to have that partnership. King Chamber, Horace Stimson with our communities of Northwest Stokes, and then our therapy partners, Innovative Therapy Concepts, donated some other door prizes that we were able to give folks. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to tell you about the hospital and encourage support of the hospital. reminding everybody that we're open for business 24/7. Our emergency department, no matter what insurance you have, we can treat you and help get you to other care if it's beyond what we can handle, or glad to handle lots of things that we can get what you need done in Danbury. For tonight, I'd like to highlight the therapy services, and that's the handout you got there. Our physical and occupational therapy services are located inside the hospital here in Danbury. We treat inpatients, which also includes those swing bed rehab patients, outpatients, and even our nursing home residents. We offer individualized treatment programs for multiple disorders, conditions, illnesses, and injuries. Our treatment options include therapeutic exercises, some manual therapy, E-stim treatment, paraffin, traction. We can do ultrasound. Dry needling is a new concept that's helping lots of folks. Home exercise instruction, and just general education. So our goal with our therapy is to treat all the patients that walk into the clinic with an individualized plan and help them achieve their independence for living their life. Again, I'd like to offer to meet with any of you individually to let you know about the services, so that as you're out and about and get questions about the hospital, you can know and support our services. Thank you.
May I show you what 8 weeks, I haven't had 8 weeks of therapy there, but I'm 8 weeks out of the replacement. That stinks.
And Brooke will be so proud.
I am so proud, you're back in the line. It's still taking care of you.
Thank you, Ms. Tillman. Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda now. Have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I have a question or two about the budget amendments.
Yes, sir.
May use some Julia help on this. Julia, I was having a bit of a challenge keeping up with the $296,079 with the DOT project, because it would appear one place and then it would appear somewhere else, and then I saw, I think somewhere, a 500,000 figure for paving, and I was wondering how, or if that kind of connects together in some way.
Okay, the budget amendment I had in here, we moved the whole 500,000 when we was talking about the paving project. Because at that time, we didn't know how much it was gonna be. And since then, we've had the 241,860, and then you're adding 97,456. So this is remainder of those funds being transferred back into capital reserve for future paving projects.
Okay. So that's part of
Which one is
the 500,000? Very good. And one other question, as I was going through the packet, 108, Amendment 108 for Sci Tech, there's a pretty good series of increases, and I was just wondering what, if there's anything in particular driving those?
They're having, they've got to do elevator repairs and stuff over there, and this is just to get them through the remainder of the fiscal year. There's nothing really driving it, it's just different items, and they've had to repair some stuff over there, and they've got a elevator repair cost that's needing to be done also.
That's probably the 15,000.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious because it adds up to 24,000 total, not all that much, but maybe enough to justify a question, and I appreciate your.
It's already passed for the guarantee, so now you're paying for the repairs.
Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Walker. First and second. Any more comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move on now to our information agenda. Item 8, Cardinal Innovations Quarterly Report. And is that Julie Edwards on that one?
No, it's Melissa Bunker.
Mr. Bunker.
Russell Bunker. I'm still clicked on something else here.
That's fine.
There we go.
Yeah. Good evening, Commissioners. Thanks for having me here tonight. As I was introduced, my name is Melissa Bunker. I'm the Senior Community Executive for Cardinal Innovations, and I work directly with your constituents in this county as it relates to behavioral health, substance use disorder, and intellectual developmental disability disorders. So I typically come on a quarterly basis and give you all an update. Last time I was here, I asked if you had any specific interest in any specific topics for me to speak on here as we close our fiscal year. And hearing none, I put together a brief agenda. The first thing I'd love to go over with you first is just some organizational updates as it relates to our leadership. And then I will share with you the 4 topics that I have prepared, and you all could tell me what you might have interest in hearing about. Major organizational updates are that we had a shift in some executive leadership that directly impacted my role and my counterparts across our 20 counties. As the senior community executive, we work directly in our communities with elected officials, county management, superintendents, DSS, directors, and health department directors to provide you all the support that you need in connection with what we do as an insurance company, Medicaid and state insurance. And our direct line of leadership, we used to go under, there were 2 other levels of leadership. I reported to a director, then I reported to a vice president, then we reported up to our executive level leader. We made some changes, and now I report directly to an executive level leader. And that's wonderful for you all because there is not a lot of anything in the way from me being able to help to support you and what you need here in Stokes County. Ashley Conger is the new Chief Communications and Marketing Officer, and she is my direct boss. A couple of other things that shifted around. We had a new Vice President of Public Affairs who was promoted, and she works directly with Raleigh and the legislators. And then we put in a new Vice President of Human Resources, and she'll be specifically working on training and development. That's internal and external. We have previously been siloed with different training going out of all of our different departments, and we're looking to bring those together. And then we have 2 new executive leaders who have come on board, new Chief Medical Officer, Senior Vice President, Medical Director, and an Interim Chief Operations Officer. So those are just some quick organizational updates for you at that level. I have 4 topics to cover if you're interested in any of them. The first topic is a new governance structure that we are toying with in order to better prepare for the tailored plan and the standard plan associated with Medicaid transformation. That's one topic. Another topic is an update on what's happening in our 4-county region on a foster care pilot that is very interesting and has a lot of legs in Raleigh. Then I thought I would also offer 2 other that sort of tie together. An update on the behavioral health urgent care, which is in Forsyth County, and maybe some of the numbers, and so you guys might be interested in seeing how Stokes County is utilizing that facility. And then I could also give an update on the Senate Bill 630, which is the transportation plan for involuntary commitments. It's a lot. That's why I'm giving you the options.
I wouldn't know which one to leave out, so maybe a little bit of some of all of them.
Yes, that's fine. If you want to do a brief on each one.
I will do as brief as I can. So the proposed governance model that we're talking about is creating a regional health council. Actually, Pam Tillman, when we first started talking about this, she likened this to something that Stokes County did in your history, which was a sort of a health foundation, a council that took in grant dollars and then determined based on the data what the county needed. This health council here in Stokes then would be able to put money back in your community. very similar concept. We're talking about doing a regional health council where we have leaders from all across the 4-county plus Davidson, because we're about to add Davidson to our triad region. And we would have, on this council, we would have individuals like yourselves represented, hospital administrators, members, families, providers, judicial system, departments of social service. And what we would look to have happen is at this level, the operations council level, we would, at that level, we would partner directly with the hospitals and the health departments, come together and actually perform a joint health assessment in our counties that could then inform where the gaps and the needs are in our counties, so that you, at the health council level, could then know where grant money or investment money was most needed in those counties and in the region. So that is the short version of it. How we're planning on rolling this out, for the past 6 months, we've done presentations on this model in all 20 counties to every level of stakeholder and community family member. And at last check, we had an 85% positive survey rating on this concept. And so what's happening next is at our June board meeting, our executive board meeting, the concept will be basically voted on by our executive board. And if it goes forth, then we will be looking to implement the program starting as early as July of this year. The other thing that you might be interested to note is that Cardinal Innovation's board of directors is committed on investing future dollars in all of our counties, savings in all of our counties. And this new board model, this new healthy regional health council model, puts that power back into your hands and allows you to decide where that money goes in the region. So quick update on the foster pilot. We've been working directly with Jake, Shannon, and Stacy at DSS, along with their counterparts in the other 3 counties. And we've been working hard on creating a new foster care system. And the gist of this is that there are really 2 foster care systems. There is a traditional foster care system, and there is a therapeutic foster care system. The 2 systems at the state level work against each other. The whole goal is for a child to get better and to require less care, thus less money. That's how the LME MCO therapeutic foster care system works. The traditional foster care system, if you have a child who is in traditional foster care and they move to another home, that is not good for DSS. They get, for lack of a better term, dinged as you move a child. The child also undergoes additional trauma with those moves. This group's gotten together and proposed a new structure, and we are going to be piloting that structure because we were successful with the support of Senator Krovic in pushing through a Senate bill that has made it to the budget. And we will be getting some funding in order to administer this pilot in the 4-county region. So more to come on this. So the behavioral health urgent care, you can check out these numbers. At the time this presentation was put together, we had January and February numbers. I think at this point I probably have March and April numbers as well, so I can follow up with Shannon and share with you all those numbers if you'd like to see, because they have increased. Essentially, what we're looking at, if you see Stokes counties in the very bottom, we had 3 referrals from Stokes County in January, 6 in February. All of these individuals who have been in the chair, they're 23-hour chairs, and they're basically de-escalating out of a serious behavioral health emergency, and they're getting reconnected to either medication, different medication, an inpatient unit, additional services to support their need. And they're spending an average length of time between 9 and 12 hours in that chair. And if they need to move on to an inpatient unit, then Daymark, we term it BHUC, Behavioral Health Urgent Care, BHUC. They actually help the individual get transported to where they need to go. So you can see there's been an increase in the referrals. The emergency departments have been referring individuals directly to the behavioral health urgent care, lots of family and friend referrals, and the total county referrals is a total of 61. And last but not least, the Senate Bill 630, which is the transportation plan that the state is requiring all counties get together and work with each stakeholder to determine what is the transportation path for an individual undergoing involuntary commitment. So my role in this has been to pull the groups together in all the counties and to come up with a plan. And the behavioral health urgent care in Forsyth County has been our first stop, and that is the goal for any person who is nonviolent or non-aggressive to go there and get their assessment, be assessed, sit in the chair. If they're medically cleared, then they can move on to an inpatient unit. Sometimes, through that de-escalation and sitting in the chair, they actually can be taken off of involuntary commitment and connected to other support services in the community. So having that in Forsyth is we're very lucky to have that in our region. There are a lot of other counties, my counterparts, that do not have as easy a time pulling together a transportation plan with a location for people to go, the whole point being to divert them from the emergency department. So this has gone really well. We had some additional meetings today, actually, and with the help of Ty and Sheriff Marshall, your plan is going to be put together, and you will hear more about it, hopefully by August, for it to be adopted by each of you before it must go to the state. That is my update.
Thank you so much for that. And I'll start right here to my right, Commissioner Mendenhall.
Thank you. I thought you did a great job with that. I get to see this young lady about once every month or two. I'm our representative for our commissioners with this group, so I've seen quite a bit of this, and she is doing an excellent job. Excellent job. Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendenhall. Commissioner Young?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bunker. Great presentation. There's a lot of data in there, and it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of great things. So working with the other counties and bringing those ideas together is critical. Quite honestly, I'm learning more and more about Cardinal Innovations as I sit in this chair that I didn't realize that we had those services available in the county. So it's nice to see that, and you guys kind of reaching out and figuring out how to spread that open a little more. Thanks.
Commissioner Younts. Commissioner Walker?
Thank you, sir. Well, it's always good to see you.
Nice purple.
Well, I didn't quite match your others, but thank you. Appreciate that. I don't think Chairman Nicholson and I match too well, but
Oh, yeah, I think you do.
okay. I'm not a fashionista. What is it?
Fashionista.
That's it. Not quite there yet. Sort of tracked your progress over the years. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Proud for you. And you've worked hard to be in a position you're in. And I think you've done a good job all along the way. We'll try to get started back to your stakeholders meetings. I enjoyed those meetings.
That would be great.
Learned a lot.
We're welcome to have any of you at those stakeholder meetings. They happen monthly.
And that's what, the third Thursday?
It is the third Thursday of every month. They just moved back over to our new wellness center in our new space at 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 3:30.
Right.
I can actually get Shannon an update on that information to invite all of you and everyone else in the room and the community as well.
That would be good. Trying to follow along your PowerPoints here, and doing pretty good at times, and time or two there I feel like I need a little help. This council in each county, how will that be populated? How will it be staffed?
So what I didn't go into detail about is that on this slide, and you all do have a printout of this in your packets. Do you do? Okay. So you can see it.
As you were
Yeah,
presenting.
so you can see it a little bit better there. Ultimately, using Stokes County as an example, the Stokes County Advisory Committee would pretty much be the community partners meeting. It would sort of be reconstituted in such a manner that that group would have information. They would have more information on what is needed from the Triad Regional Health Council in order to give feedback on what the specific concerns are in Stokes County. So if I could come up with an example, let's say, for instance, the data from the health department and the hospital and the needs assessment that's done. It's a survey that goes out to all the community. And within that survey, we got information back that transportation to behavioral health appointments from Stokes County to a service, to a provider was needed. The Regional Health Council would then be looking at that information and comparing it to what else they're getting from the other counties, what the data says in those other counties. And then the Health Council could help and support when grant opportunities come about. So there may be some recommendations. They may recommend back to the Stokes Community Advisory Council, here's some grants on transportation. Is this something that the community is interested in going after? And then pulling together a group to actually go for that those grant dollars to bring them here to Stokes County, rather than what happens now with less communication. Sometimes you have providers or organizations in the same county going after the same grant, competing against each other for the same money. So this model of having a hierarchy of an advisory council at the county level that feeds up to your operations council level, because you would have, say, for instance, a chair from Stokes County that would sit up on the operations council, and then the operations council would have a chair or two that would sit up on your regional council level. So every county would get equal representation and have an equal voice and vote on whatever money there is to be reinvested back into the triad.
Very good, thank you. The MOE funds, how do they fit with the changes that you're describing? Where will they be applied in a new way versus the current way?
MOE is totally separate from this.
Okay, good.
MOE are your county funds. Those are your funds that you deem for the use of behavioral health, intellectual developmental disabilities, and substance use disorder services. It's just a little under $400,000, and you all determine, along with your county manager, what those funds are used for. Totally separate.
I think that's about all the list I have, and I again appreciate the work you and your organization are doing. One indicator that I have, Melissa, is how much pushback or feedback or citizen concerns I'm getting over any aspect of our county's operations. And I think it's minimal as far as mental health now. One here and there, but not as much, nowhere near as much as there has been at certain times in the past. So I think we've really made some good progress. I think the facility in Winston is a real plus for our county. It's really not that far away. And I appreciate what you and the rest of the crew there are doing.
Absolutely. And just in case you didn't know, if you do get calls from family members or individuals in this county and you have feedback that you need to share, I am the person that you would share that with directly. And I would run down whatever needed to be run down to get answers. So just so you know that, that's my role. That's why the new reorg is positive for all of our counties at this level, for me to be able to be right there to support what you all need.
Right. One short cleanup question, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Well, listen, we have a mental health, drug, substance abuse liaison here, Rhonda Pearman.
Oh, yes.
And from indications I'm aware of, she's doing a good job.
Absolutely.
She's serving a very important function. How are you seeing it from the cardinal aspect? Do you feel like that she's really kind of helping people connect with the services they need?
Yes, it's a very needed role, and y'all are special that you put some money towards that. I think that was a very wonderful thing that you did. I think that what she does is she really is the key that sort of helps to support individuals when they're ready to get help. And that's the key piece, is you often have individuals who unfortunately aren't ready yet. And so she can continue to try. And we have a lot of other providers like your mobile engagement, our access call center line. We have a population health phone call line. So we have all sorts of mechanisms to try to support people to help them get to a place where they are ready to start going and getting services on a regular basis, which is then what leads them to full recovery. So yes, that she is a first stop shop, absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Commissioner Morris?
Hey, Melissa, good to see you.
You too.
I would agree with Commissioner Walker. You guys have really been on a positive trend, I think, over the last couple of years, and the services you're providing and the interaction with the local government here. So that's really a good thing. Just a couple of quick questions. On the foster care program, that's been developed over some period of time, right, this pilot?
Yes,
You're
nearly
just now
2
getting ready to
years.
implement it.
Rhonda Outlaw was at
Yeah.
the table along with the county managers and DSS directors. I was in those meetings along with some of our other management. And yes, we have all worked together, and Cardinal Innovations hired an outside consulting firm to help us get to the point of where we got the Senate bill and that they put it in the budget.
Okay. When will that pilot program start here in this county?
Hopefully very soon. We are in the process right now of putting some additional work groups meetings together. We were meeting quarterly. We just met 2 weeks ago, and we decided that we would start meeting with DSS staff monthly. And the hope is to be able to bring the consultant back in to really help us hone in all the parts and pieces to make the pilot work. I don't want to box us into a date, but I know that we'll have a certain amount of money from the legislature that's given to us for fiscal year 20 and for fiscal year 21. So it certainly will be something that we will continue to talk about over the next few years.
Okay, good. How long will it last once you get it going?
Well, the hope, the big dream, of course, is that we prove the model in our four-county region. That, and of course, the model that we're trying to prove is that the parents need support just as much as the child needs support, and that if you can provide emergency services and supports to the parents during an emergency situation that the child is happening, that you can keep the child and that parent together and work through that crisis, rather than the family throwing their hands up because they don't know what else to do, and then they get dropped off at the emergency department, or they get placed in another provider, which is the moves that I was talking about. So the goal is to make sure that the family and the child have enough supports to really get stronger and get better, but within that one home. So we're going to be collecting a lot of data, a lot of behavioral health data, but also a lot of wellness and physical health data, dental data around these children in our four-county region. And if we prove the model, the goal is that you would only have one foster care system. You would not have this therapeutic model that competes against the traditional model. The concept is that every parent that chooses to be a foster parent is a therapeutic foster parent, for lack of a better term, having all of the appropriate trauma training that they need and having those wraparound supports. So the systems aren't working against each other. The big dream is that this would go across the whole state, but we're far away from that.
That's a big
It's
change.
just very cool that we get to pilot it here in our 4-county area.
That is good. It's a big change, and I appreciate if you'd keep us updated every time you come.
Surely.
What's going on with that? One last, you said 3 people in January and 6 in February. Have there been any since then, or is that data just not collected yet?
No, I've got it. I just did not, we send in these presentations to you guys and get them in your packets. So yes, I do have that. I have a spreadsheet. I can get that to Shannon, and it's updated as of, I want to say April or May.
Oh, okay.
We've got numbers that are specific to counties.
Okay, good. Last thing, who's doing this transportation plan? Who's putting it together?
So we had that conversation today, actually. Ty has a draft that has been sort of floated around, and we have had several conversations here in the county with the stakeholders, King Police Department, Sheriff's Department, hospitals, EMS, and sort of all come to a verbal agreement on what happens now, and what happens now works just very well. So Ty's going to be helping us with a draft, and the sheriff will be blessing it, making changes, stating specifically what he can do with the staff that he has in order to support that transportation plan. So all those things will be worked out before it gets presented back to you all.
Do we have to approve it then?
You do have to, it's not really an approval. I think it's an acceptance that the plan is ratified or agreed upon from the whole county perspective, and then it goes to the state.
Okay, great. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Commissioner Morris. I don't have any questions for you, but I do appreciate you coming to give us a brief discussion on the topics right here. I'm very interested in that, Senate Bill 549. Definitely looking forward to updates on that, and definitely looking forward to have you back in August. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe, yes, it will be.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, you guys.
Moving on to item B, Stokes Partnership for Children. And Cindy Tuttle.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see all these familiar faces, folks some of you I've known for years, and it's good to be back in Danbury. It feels like coming home after working for the county for so long. I'm Cindy Tuttle. I'm the Executive Director of Stokes Partnership for Children, and we're the local Smart Start agency and the NC Pre-K coordinator for Stokes County. So we represent those little folks. And so I'm going to, in a way, what I'm going to do is piggyback a little bit on what Melissa has shared tonight. And we're going to talk about the MOE funds that Jimmy referenced that the county provides for to match Cardinal. And there's two programs I want to give you an update on. One of them is the NC 211 program. And we've been doing that now for about, I guess it's been about 2 years. And it's going pretty well, and we're building on that, and it's getting out there more and more. The main thing that we're doing right now is we're plastering the county with these rack cards. You've probably seen them everywhere you go. We've got 57 locations now. On one side is in English, the other side is in Spanish. And we have a really good community committee that works and helps pull all that together and helps get these rack cards out all around the county. In your packet, you have a NC 211 data report, and this is very helpful. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet or not, but it breaks down the calls that are received at the call center. And I'm assuming, let me back up just a minute. Everybody knows what NC 211 is, right? You guys are familiar with that. It's the non-emergency referral line. Okay. Well, right now, we have, year to date, from July 1, 2018 to current, on just telephone contacts, there's been 131 telephone calls made into the call center. And this report breaks down what those calls have been about. And as you can see, most of the referrals are made by their self-referrals. And the majority of the referrals have come in for housing, utility assistance, and so forth. And then the third is for mental health and addictions. We've also, getting the information about the referrals that come through online is a little more complicated, but we can see how many contacts have been made and where they're coming from. So there have been 160 that have come online. So, and NC 211 is working on trying to come up with a better system of tracking exactly what those online referrals are about. But that's 291 referrals for this fiscal year to date. So it's being utilized, and it's increasing every month. And this is actually a success story that came out of the community partners meeting, because this is where we really talked it up, and we talked about the need and the issues that were going on in the county, and how we needed a means to give people the resources to reach out and find help. Because at Stokes Partnership, we had been producing a print guide for years and years. And that was very successful, but it was very expensive, and it's just about as soon as we printed it, it was obsolete. So we decided to look at something different. So we had the conversations about this with the people in the know, and it was just sort of born from that and very much supported by the community collaborative. Are there any questions about the data report before I go to the next item? Okay. The next thing I want to give you a heads up on, and I'm not an expert on this, but we had a presentation at one of our meetings about the NC Care 360. Has anyone brought that to your attention yet? No? Okay, so this is the next chapter of NC 211. And this is really good news for all of our agencies, and a means to bring them together. Up to this point, there's not been a means to share any of the data. And agencies have been operating in silos. And so, like, say, for instance, if a person were to go into King Outreach Ministries and apply for help, they have to give their name, address, and information. And then if they go to apply for public assistance at DSS, they've got to do the same thing. So this is a means to have a unified system to bring the counties together, and a means to where the person's not constantly telling their same story and giving their same information over and over. They expect this to be completed by December 2020. There's no cost to the counties. 211 will be the call center for this, and Stokes is slated to come aboard in August. So they will be reaching out to you. There is an organization that will be contacting this, and I believe it's called Unite Us. So they may come and do a presentation for you all and talk about how this is going to work. It'll involve county agencies and so forth. It'll be an excellent means to bump 211 up, and 211 is actually the main coordinator for this initiative. So you're going to be hearing more about that. So 211's growing. We're on board, and it seems to be going well. So does anybody have any questions about NC 211 before I go to the next topic?
Mr. Commissioner Walker.
Cindy, always good to see you. Appreciate you being here and bringing this information for us. And I've been sort of involved with 211 all along, and keeping up with the progress, at least to some extent. What are your thoughts about where 211 is compared to where you thought it would be, or where the projections are for it to be at this particular point in time?
Well, over the last year, we've been comparing ourselves to similar counties as far as the numbers in the referrals, and we are right where we need to be. We are actually ahead of where we need to be. I mean, we're doing really well with getting our referrals, and the numbers are growing, so we're very pleased.
Very good. I was encouraged to hear that you have the information, and I think you said 57 locations?
We have 57 locations where we're getting these RAC cards out, and the Sheriff's Department helps us a lot.
Good.
Get out there. Danny Bottoms in particular is really good to get out there and help us, because he's out on the road anyway. And we've got 911 involved, and we've got the United Fund involved. We've got, there's a lot of partner agencies that help us with this, and we just sign up and get out there and just plant these all over the county. So that's really, I think, helped a whole lot. If if you don't see it, it's not visible. Oh, and also we're having signs made for the Lions Park in Walnut Cove and Recreation Acres.
Good.
So, yeah, it's out there.
When I was going through the information, I don't have 211 pulled up now, I'm on NC Care 360. There was something about, I think about 18 calls on your data, on your metrics for internet. I was curious about, I can go back and find it if I need to, but at one particular line there it said internet.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're, okay. That's the marketing source. That's how that person found out about NC211.
Okay.
They found out about, 18 people found out about it through the internet, which it's on the county's website, it's on the school system's website, it's on our website, all the partner agencies' websites, DSS, libraries, they all have it on their websites.
I'll finish up with this. I want to thank you for your involvement with these programs. I think they do serve a very valid need. And I think, Cindy, if I remember correctly, you are one of the main folks in recognizing that need in our county, 211 in particular, and pushing forward with it. So thank you for all the effort and resources that you put into it. And I do think it was a good replacement, is a good replacement for the little printed booklet that you used to have. One more question.
Yes, sir.
How much success are you having now? And I know this was a challenge from my involvement earlier. Kind of got sidetracked back in November, but I'm getting back to full speed again now. How good are we doing? How well are we doing with people keeping current information? I know at one time that was a particular challenge to see that the information on 211 was current, valid, and appropriate information.
We have to remind our county agencies to make sure their information is up to date in the system. It's only as good as those agencies make it. And we have a person in Greensboro that handles all of that for us. It's free.
Whoa.
Well, the county pays for the service, but this is an additional service that they provide. And by the way, thank you very much for supporting this through the MOE dollars. But all the agency has to do is contact her by email or phone and say, hey, my information needs to be updated, blah, 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 and she'll do it for them. No one has to go into the system and do it themselves. So that's really good because it can get complicated if you go in, you have to figure out how to enter all that stuff. So she will do it, and also she does, I think it's annually, she will go in and send out an email saying, do you have any information you need to change or update in your listing?
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Walker, is anyone? Can you do billboards to start with, too?
We did billboards to launch it, we did.
Don't do any more, you don't need them? Or?
They're very expensive, and we don't receive enough funds. You guys actually gave us the money to launch it, more money than's been budgeted for this year. And honestly, I think those rack cards and signs at the ball fields and things like that is gonna, I mean, the ball field signs weren't but like $300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they'll stay up. I think it's Recreation Acres, we have to pay one of them we have to pay like $200 a year once we get the sign up. One of them's free.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and then the second thing, and this is also, I want to give our sincere thanks for you guys investing in this particular position with Stokes Partnership for Children. We now have a behavior and inclusion support specialist that is here to help our desperate early childhood programs. I know Stacey Elms has reported in the past, but we have really seen an uptick in behavior issues in our early childhood programs. And when I say early childhood, I'm talking birth to 5. And obviously, I won't go into all the details. I think you guys already know the challenges we have in our county and the high rate of children in foster care and the opioid addiction and all the issues we have in our county is directly impacting these small children. These are the children of addicts and so forth and so forth. It's really escalating. I'm a social worker myself, having been 15 years at DSS. I was a foster care worker, and I've never seen anything like this. So we have to have help. Our child care, well, our early childhood professionals, and when I say childcare, I'm including the public schools, Head Start, and private childcare, they don't know what to do. So what they're doing in some cases, not the school system, and usually not the health department, but private childcare, they're expelling, they're using expulsion. They're kicking these kids out of care. And then they're showing back up in kindergarten, and then the school system has to deal with them. And it's serious. I mean, we need help for the little kids now. So you guys gave us some seed money, and we really appreciate that. And we've hired a lady that I'm going to introduce to you, Melissa Kirkland. You may come on up here. And Melissa is going to help identify these children with the behavioral issues. She'll evaluate their needs, plan classroom strategies, and when necessary, and probably will be necessary very often, she's going to use interventions using the pyramid model, which is an evidence-based model to help with interventions. And she's going to work directly with the teachers and will be the liaison with the mental health services available in the county and try to get the families help as well. So we're delighted that you guys were able to help us with this. We're madly writing grants and using Smart Start dollars and NC Pre-K dollars and everything we can to continue this on. But we're extra delighted that we were able to hire someone of Melissa's caliber, because she comes with an extensive background in mental health, and especially working with children with attachment issues. And I'll let you sing your own praises. I'd like for her to tell you a little about herself.
Yeah, my name is Melissa Kirkland, and I do come from a background in mental health therapy. I was in private practice and I've worked in agencies as well, but always the thread has been behavior problems with children and abuse and neglect, and trauma, which leads in many cases to attachment and bonding issues, which lead to future behavior issues, as well as physical health it affects. And there are so many different types of trauma, and it does seem to be getting worse. So I'm going to help the teachers kind of understand development a little bit better, from 0 to 5, and exactly why it's important to interact with the kids and not just direct them here and there, but really, that they spend so much time with the children, oftentimes more than the parents do. So it's just so important to really develop a relationship with these little fellas. And it's just there's gonna be so much, what am I trying to say, effect if you do, and negative effect if it doesn't work. And as we're already seeing some of that too. So I'm looking forward to it. The earlier we can get in there, the better. So, yeah.
And she's a licensed professional counselor, by the way.
Yes.
Does anybody have any comments for him?
Sorry,
Commissioner
I
Minnick.
was just going to say, start with Commissioner Minnick.
That's okay. I don't really have anything except positives to say, because I remember when Cindy came here about 2.5 years ago, and we were in the middle of the opioid crisis, just getting cranked up big time. And Commissioner Walker was on the board at that time also, and she came to us with the 211 proposal. And Cindy, I'm just wanting to say I'm so glad that it's being successful. I remember seeing the billboards to start with, and then I started seeing the pamphlets. And I'm really grateful that you're using the money that wisely. And then when this board approved the money from Melissa, it's good to have you on board.
Thank you.
And we just hope you have all the success in the world. Thank you. All right.
So it's a good song. We enjoy it. Thank you, Commissioner Minnick. Commissioner Yance, you have anything?
I don't have anything to add to what Commissioner Mendenhall stated. This is great, and to see the 211, and again, as I stated earlier, I'm learning something new monthly in here, and to see your top 20 needs and the services provided by that, it's pretty neat to see that it's deeper than just the what I always assumed it was. So it's good to see that, and applaud you guys for that.
Commissioner Walker?
Thank you, sir. Cindy or Melissa, the NC 360, that's new to me, and I'm not familiar with what it involves or the purposes it can serve. Could you give us a brief recap, please, of exactly what that's intended to do?
Well, it's new to me too, and they just did a presentation at our last meeting about what this is. But apparently, NC 211 was put in the bid to be the coordinator, the overseer of this project, and they were awarded this, so they will be the ones mainly coordinating it. But it's when you think about someone applying for services, if you like I said earlier, if you go to one of the food banks and you apply for services, you're going to have to tell them all the information about yourself, who you are, what your address, and what your situation is, and so forth. And then if you go down the road to, say, DSS or somewhere and you apply for services, you got to start that all over again. So and I remember talking about the need for this when I was at social services. This is a way when you go in, you tell your story one time, you give them your information, and that's it. It's a shared data bank with community service providers. And then that way, it also helps head off a little bit of some possible double dipping. Because they didn't emphasize that, but it was mentioned so that someone who jumps around, you can see, oh, they were just at King Outreach, 2 days ago, and now here they are over here, so what's going on with this? But it's mainly to help that person not feel like they've got to go through that whole process over and over again, and at least there's shared information out there about the person and their family. And it's all with consent. It has to be, the person has to agree to it. And I know, having years and years ago worked in intake at DSS, how that was. It would have been good to have had that database back then and see that already in the system.
Just a kind of a curiosity type question, but is this information also accessible to our faith-based community? Can they tap into it or not?
I don't know. I do know they will come to you. They're going to be doing presentations, and they said they thought they'd be coming to the county commissioners doing a presentation. So I'm assuming they will come to you soon and do a presentation. So you'll hear firsthand from them how this is going to work, because they're going to have to work with all the agencies in the county. I can touch base and find out when they're going to contact you all and how that's going to work. Because I kind of thought you might have known about it, might have heard about it by now, but I wanted to make sure, you had a heads up that this was coming down the pike.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the information you've shared with us, and very interested in seeing how the 360 program will fit into the total scheme of things here in our county. Just from y'all's perspective, where are we with the opioid crisis?
From our perspective?
From what you're seeing and hearing?
Well, we just see the repercussions. We see what's going on with the kids.
That's what I mean.
Well, yeah, you've got kids doing some pretty serious stuff at a young age. It's scary. It's coming from somewhere. And some of the things they say and do, it's coming from some pretty horrendous backgrounds. So
I think you see some sad circumstances with the children connected to the opioid situation.
Well, the sad situation is these early childhood professionals in the classrooms don't know what to do. And they don't know how to react to this child. One of the things that we want to turn around is having people think of the child doing something to them, like that child is wrecking my day. Well, no, what's going on? The question should be, what's going on in that child's life that's causing this behavior? And that mindset needs to shift.
There's a lot of anger, I think, with teachers and even parents or foster parents. I know a lot of kids now, because of this crisis, are in foster care. And people don't know what to do. Parents don't know what to do. Foster parents don't know what to do. Teachers don't know what to do. and they get angry at the child. And again, the child's just experienced trauma and is coping the only way that they know how. So in working with the teachers, it's going to hopefully bring down the anger level so that they can hear and understand what's really going on and help the child, as opposed to, again, just order them around or ignore them, because that's the last thing that they need.
And that early childhood classroom may be the only stable thing in that child's life at that given time.
The smallest ratio of teacher to child that might ever have, too.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Thank you, Commissioner Morris.
Just a comment, Cindy, I'm really pleased to see you guys focused on mental health at that very young age. I think everybody agrees we have a serious mental health crisis. State's under-resourced and causing bad outcomes to happen. And I don't think there's anything more important you could be doing than trying to address that at an early age and head off some of the problems. So good luck to you guys on doing that.
Well, I didn't mention, I'll say this real quick, we do a needs assessment every 3 years, and it was the #1 top area of need was behavioral issues.
Yeah.
With young kids at home and in the classrooms. It was the #1 issue. So and parents gave us 26 pages of handwritten frustrations and about things they're feeling. So we've never had that. I mean, there was 26 additional pages to our needs assessment of just comments.
Mm-hmm. Well, keep us posted and we'll keep trying to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Morris. Cindy, Melissa, thank y'all for coming in. I mean, the information you're giving to us on this is pretty detailed. Even tell us that on the calls there was one wrong number. So, I mean, that's pretty detailed and seeing what's going on. So, I think it's great what you guys are doing. God bless these kids who's out there going through this stuff, and God bless y'all for going through it. I pray He gives you the patience and y'all were able to guide these kids on the right road there. And once again, looking forward to seeing the group come and explain more to us about the NC Care 360, and looking forward to having you guys back again on the update on this, and we appreciate all you do.
Okay, thank you very much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
We're going to take just a short 5-minute break before we move on. That way, if anybody needs to get up and take off, they can, and we'll come back in about 5 more minutes. Should have that water before my mouth's get dry.
I was getting ready to ask you for water.
call the meeting back to order. Move on to our discussion agenda now. Item A, the economic incentive agreement for Chestnut Street investment. We have Mr. Will Carter.
Good afternoon. As per the Economic Incentive Agreement dated September the 5th, 2017, it is my finding that Chestnut Street Properties has now satisfied all of the requirements as laid out in the agreement and deed of trust. Attached, you will see the agreement and the deed of trust. It is my recommendation that the board move forward with dissolving this due to the agreement being satisfied. Excuse me. The employment records are not included in the attachment due to confidentiality, but information can be provided upon request. Board approval is required to allow the county attorney to move forward with satisfying the deed of trust. County Attorney Browder will prepare the paperwork to satisfy that deed of trust upon approval.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody have any questions, or Mr. Carter?
I have a comment.
Just comments, but not questions.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
Go first, John, too.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
It's just amazing what Mr. Black has done up there with that school. What a contribution to the community, the investments, I mean, and the people that are employed up there. It's just really amazing.
Yes.
And I would hope we can support him if he is able to expand and do new stuff up there,
Absolutely.
along with what he's doing. But the transformation and the contribution of the county that business has made is just really unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
I just can't believe it.
Yes, sir.
But
The
I'm
machinery.
glad we're
If you haven't
blessed that
been
it
by-
happened. We're absolutely blessed that it happened. And I would encourage any board members that if you're in the neighborhood, stop in and look at what he's doing up there if you haven't had an opportunity to do so. He's got very sophisticated operation with machinery and things I've never seen before that are producing product up there. So it's a great deal. Good thing that happened for the county.
Yes, sir.
I'm anxious to conclude the agreement. What do we have to do? The county attorney just has to cancel the deed of trust and then everything's done, or do we need to send a letter to Mr. Black? Or
He has the paperwork with him, I believe, don't you?
I have a certificate of satisfaction,
Mhm.
which the chairman, when the board approves, will sign. This is recorded. Ask me to be.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Good, that's all I have then. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Walker?
Thank you, sir. Well, I always like good news, and I appreciate you bringing the good news tonight that you
Yes,
brought
sir.
to us. It's really reassuring when things turn out the way we hope they will or expect them to. And sort of along with what Commissioner Morris was saying, this is something that we worked out with Mr. Black, how many years ago?
2017.
17, a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And he seems to have kept his end of the bargain very well.
Yes.
I've had some feedback, not a lot, but some from the residents in that area, and they seem very pleased to have him there, doing what he's doing. So it's a win, 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 win. It seems to be working for all involved. And it's, again, kind of, like I say, it's gratifying, it's sort of fulfilling when things work like that.
Yes, sir. If you haven't been there, you should go by. It's amazing.
Haven't been there. I'm looking forward to the
Yes, sir,
time
it's
when I
worth the
can drop by.
Yeah, I always enjoy my visits up there.
If I still had my motorcycle, I'd ride it up there.
Yeah, well, now wait a minute. I'm still looking for those glasses. So.
The deer's wearing them. But thank you for your involvement with this, and sounds like
He's really done a good job.
how many jobs has he created there? Do you know?
Don't know a figure as of right now, but a bunch. I'd say 15, maybe.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's
way
he's
more
really
than the
growing.
requirement.
Yeah, that's a lot more than we originally thought.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Very good.
And hopefully growing, like Commissioner Morris said. Yeah.
Well,
I told him I hope he had 150 before long. I mean,
Oh man, when will you see Mr. Black?
Don't have an appointment with him right now.
You happen to see him every now and then,
Yes, or we'll either talk on the phone once in a while.
or when you talk with him on the phone, just tell him
Yes.
that very proud of what he's done and very appreciative.
I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
Commissioner
Mr.
Walker. Commissioner Yates.
I don't have anything further.
Thank you. Commissioner Mendenhall.
No, I'm in concurrence with what Commissioner Morris and Commissioner Walker said. I know when we first started talking to Mr. Black, he impressed me from the beginning. Very astute businessman, and I think he's done an excellent job, and that's all. I'm just very proud of his efforts in the Francisco community.
Yes, sir.
That's all I just wanted to make sure he knows that we're all proud of what he's done. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendenhall. Yeah, same here as the others said, you know, it's been a blessing to have Mr. Black here, take over that building, actually do something with it, and it's a big impact to that community. As you see, Mr. Simmons was talking earlier about no internet up in the area and everything else, so it's really good to take something like it and do something with it and saying creating 15 jobs. Well, like I said, huge for that area. I appreciate you bringing all this to us, and looking forward to seeing Mr. Black again here in the future, so.
And I would encourage you to go by. The equipment he's got in there is amazing.
Oh yeah, real nice place. Okay. Do y'all, yes sir, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
One quick kind of follow-up question. What products is he producing there?
Wood products.
Cabinets, primarily.
Yeah, cabinet, but there's so many other things that they're doing that it's really neat.
Thank you.
I think he was even looking at getting a 3D, like a big 3D printer put in there at one time. Do y'all know if he's got that in yet?
Oh, pretty high tech.
Yeah, interesting to see. Pretty expensive little product there. You guys want to move this to
It's action at the
Action.
next meeting.
next meeting?
Sure.
Everybody good with that?
Unless there's some time constraint that Will or our attorney is aware of.
If there's any time pushing on this?
Certainly on board for next meeting.
Are you aware, either of y'all aware of them?
No, that'd be fine, I think.
I don't think there's anything.
Everybody's good with next meeting action agenda then?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Okay, moving on to item B, the JCPC appointments, reappointments. And Ms. Shaver, you taking this one?
I can, but either way. All this is the list that Mr. Rusty Slate has sent to me to have some reappointments done, some new appointments. Some people went off the board, like, we had a DA representative that was, now Judge Langen said they're gonna be replacing that appointment. There is one date problem that he has wrong on there at the bottom where he's asking for these appointments to be made for the fiscal year. The officers, they're changing some of the officers. At the bottom, you'll see Chairperson Tiffany Cohen, Vice Chair Rusty Slate, and Secretary Stacey Elms. It should say this fiscal year, he just didn't change the date on there, but I'll get him to change that before the approval. So he's basically just asking for that list as presented to be approved. And the next meeting is fine for that because I'll need to post it anyway beforehand, so it can be put on consent for the next meeting if everyone's in agreement with that list.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this?
I'm fine with the list.
Everybody good with put on consent next meeting?
I'm good with it.
Jimmy?
Well, I was just wondering, is this something that, is it for nominations or just, these are appointees?
These are appointments, and they work a little bit differently. You can put them on action and go through the whole list and appoint each one, but this list could actually just go to consent for next time if you were okay with that.
Very good.
Because they have specific appointments they have to make, like a DA representative, and they've got those picked out.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody good with going to consent next?
Good.
All right. We're on to item C, the insurance renewals, and we have Ms. Glenda Pruitt.
Will gave good news, but I've got good news and bad news, I guess. But in your agenda package, you've seen, we heard back on very short notice on Friday. These were our new renewals that is in your packets. We were kind of expecting a increase in the workers' comp just because when me and Gail went to the meeting that they had in March, they kind of gave all counties a heads up that this would be going up. So with that being said, there was a safety audit credit that they did not show on the paperwork that last year we received around $6,000 credit. We have filled that form out, but they have not told us what that credit is going to be yet. I expect it to be the same amount, if not more, because we did do some items that they had suggested, like have a safety committee and do some different things. So hopefully that'll reduce it a little bit more. And also the cyber liability, that was one of the things that the liability portion went down a little. With that being said, it is actually covered this year without a cost, where in previous years they had charged us for the cyber liability. And the other question I had for them, because I was concerned about us getting the vehicles, the lease program, because we'll be upgrading a lot of our vehicles, but I was told by Willie and Charlie, both of them are representatives that we work with very closely, that it is not based on the year models of our vehicles, it's actually just based on the number. So that really will not affect, because I was concerned about that just because I know from our personal policies that is factored in, but they assured me that that would not affect our automobile liability insurance at all, that it just would be swapping one for one. So, but with that being said, if y'all would like to approve this, or I would like for y'all to approve this so we can continue, because they are very good to work with.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Glenda? No? Everybody good with putting this on consent next meeting?
Can we put
Or
this
action,
on
I'm sorry.
consent, or will this have to go on
Probably
action?
action,
Yeah,
since it is contractual, a pretty large dollar
I
amount.
think we'll have to go with
How
that.
soon do you need this, Glenda?
As long as I just have to have it back to them signed and everything by the 15th. So I'm fine with going to the next meeting. That's fine.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, move on to our action agenda now. Item A, the Life Bright Hospital Foundation. And is Mr. Delahunt here?
I'll take that for you, if you'd like for me too, Mr. Chairman. Huh? I'll take care of it, if you'd
Okay.
like for me to.
Yes,
Mr.
sir, go
Chairman.
ahead.
But this is a bid proposed to fix the foundation of the hospital. It was proposed last time, at the last board meeting. If you look in your agenda, you can see, the area that is to be fixed, and there's several pictures of what the damage is caused on the hospital. Grantco is, agreed to do the work at cost, and it is a cost of $14,585. And with that, you know, this is where you've discussed it at the last board meeting, and we placed it on the action agenda to move forward with doing this and making sure that this is fixed, because this is an area that it has caused considerable damage in the area of the hospital where the foundation is sinking, and I think it's caused by maybe some downspouts that's been broken. Water is leaking and going down and around the foundation and causing it to crack and sink. They're gonna come in and jack it and fix it and hopefully repair this area and the walls inside, and even where the folks sit at, you know, all this will be fixed up for them. So come in and mainly fix the downspouts that is the culprit of what caused this. That way you fix the foundation plus any kind of damage, danger of having any kind of mold that may come from it. So.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion, have a second? Second. Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. On item B, the request for abandonment of section of SR 1983.
Mr. Chairman, this is, also was looked at your previous board meeting. You looked at about an 80-foot section that's on the Scott and Rhonda Craig property that is at the end of their road. It's a dead-end road anyway. I think they're working with the state to make sure that the turnaround is fixed on it, and they just requested the board to allow the board to abandon right away. The state will abandon maintenance on that portion, and all this going through all the proper channels. It's not affecting anyone else but the Craigs, and where they have paved their driveway, a lot of people thinks that is a continuation of the state road, and they're having a little problems with it, so they're wanting it, just that little portion, if you look at the map, to be abandoned.
Motion to approve.
Motion, second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item C, the NCDOT supplement agreement.
Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Delahunt here. Would you like to take this one, Mark? On the DOT supplement agreement?
I don't know what it's referring to, I apologize, I didn't know this.
It's just on action from the
This
meeting
is on
last
action
time.
from the previous meeting to where there's the contract of the original 500,000 that was placed in there for the paving of all of our areas. And then you have the 241 that was done, and then you got another agreement of 97,000 to do some additional, which is leaving $160,000 that's going into Julia's capital reserve for any future payment from that point. But this agreement picks up the $97,000, and it will do the three areas?
Yes, community service building, that behind the Arts Council, and the Moortalk Park.
Moortalk Park, yeah. So, you're getting a good bang for the buck by letting the state
Yes,
handle
sir.
this. You really are, for the amount of money that the board set aside last year to handle just this area here on this complex, and we'll get that plus more.
I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second. And discussion, please.
Sir.
I think I mentioned at a previous meeting that we probably have other needs, paving needs, that we might have to consider at some time.
Absolutely.
And my question, I believe at that time, was, could we incorporate any of those needs into what's being done here and also get a savings by doing it along with what's being done with these projects?
The actual savings is being that the state is doing it basically at cost. And that's why we're picking up so many other different sites. Now, you're gonna have money set aside, that a budget amendment, moving money back to capital reserve area for future paving. So when those comes up, it's gonna be you're gonna get the same deal if it was done today with these projects, or 2 months, 3 months, 4 months later with the state handling it.
Right. And do we already have an agreement with DOT that they will do these future projects and do them in as cost-effective manner as these are being done?
Each one of them has their own contract, don't you, Mr. Delahunt?
These do, but there's not a future agreement for anything. It would just be on a case-by-case basis as they go to them.
This is like an attachment to the agreement that's already in place, that was put in place for the paving of the government center complex. And, I had him come look, he gave me a rough cost estimate on those things. Now, one thing that's not included is what's called milling, where they pull up the old, asphalt. I'll have to find a contractor for that, which is, it'll be the same contractor that's doing this. They were low bidder, we bid it out, we received the quotes, and they will be included on that opportunity to do the milling for that as well. But it's fairly minimal compared to the paving portion of that. Another thing that's not factored in yet is the striping, putting the lines back down and everything else. I've got to yet do that. Those costs will be minimal, but.
Very good.
Does I'm sorry, Commissioner Walker, you finished there?
I'm finished, sir.
On
Thank
the
you.
striping, does the state do that as well, or we have to find some privately to do that?
They do not. I'll
Okay.
have to find someone privately. I've got one quote just so, more or less, I could get a budget number, and it will be competitive.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And item D, the animal shelter veterinarian contract.
Mr. Chairman, that's the contract we had with veterinarian Dr. Cowing, and she expressed some interest some time back that she would like to resign from this position, but she's been helping us out for the last year or more until we've got a veterinarian to come on board, and we have now had one to sign with us, a Preston Roberts animal care clinic in Rural Hall that's signed a contract with Stokes County now to be our new our veterinarian, and we have talked to Ms. Cowan, and she is pleased and and expresses her appreciation for Stokes County and all that they're doing for the animals and allowing her to serve.
Okay. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, this time I'll ask Shannon to take us into closed session.
To consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3, and to consider and take action with respect to the position to be taken by the county in negotiating the price or other material terms of an agreement for the acquisition or lease of real property pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A5. I need a motion to.
Do I have a motion to take us into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting closed. Sorry, Brittany. Thank you, Bobby.
Well, I got nothing to do with the schools.
I want to say.
just gotta get back in open and get a motion to adjourn.
All right, back up in open session. Have a
Make a motion, we adjourn.
motion adjourned.
Second.
A second, any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, I need help, Shannon.
Okay.
My
Hold on, let me
computers.
turn everything
I don't know
off.
what I'm supposed to be taking home and what I'm not.
I'm like, oh.
Seriously, those things?